Never before has gambling been so heavily promoted and accessible, especially through sport. This makes it feel like a normal part of the game and harder for students to recognise the potential harm. We want students to love the game, not the odds. The School Education Program is here to support you, to help your students develop healthy and informed attitudes to gambling as they approach adulthood. This instruction video and the unit it explains forms part of a wider suite of resources and tools to assist you and your school tackle this important wellbeing issue. This video supports the Mythbusters unit of work, which can be downloaded from our website. The primary learning intention of this unit is to demonstrate how gambling can become a health issue for young people, particularly if they hold misconceptions in relation to chance and the likelihood of winning. The unit works to dispel commonly regarded gambling myths and reduce student susceptibility to experiencing gambling harm. In this unit, students will develop a strategy to address gambling as a possible health issue by planning and producing a short video to debunk gambling myths that young people might subscribe to. The task and rubric included are mapped to VCE Health and Human Development Unit 1, Area of Study 2, Outcome 2. It's important to note that this unit only covers Outcome 2 of Area Study 2. Not all key knowledge and key skills are addressed because these materials don't include nutrition-focused items.
All the material is given to you by the program. There's lesson plans and an outline that's very clear. It was quite fun to run with the students, really engaging, different type of activities inside that unit, really encouraged other students that normally don't really participate to join in the conversation and the discussion about gambling itself.
In the appendix, there's a list of definitions you can familiarise yourself with before starting the unit. The unit involves students filming and editing a video, so before beginning this work, make sure that they have all the resources they need to do this, along with any necessary permissions within your school. Like any potentially sensitive topic, we'd recommend you and your class set some ground rules together to promote a safe learning space, covering things like how to fairly and respectfully participate in class discussions, what's appropriate to disclose in the classroom, and what students can do if they feel uncomfortable. When discussing gambling with students, be mindful not to give the impression that betting underage is normal. The tuning in section of the learning sequence should take around 30 minutes. Start by activating your students' prior knowledge about types of gambling, the risks involved, and the places where they see advertising. The activities suggested on page 8 are just examples you can use. You might have an alternate activity in mind. When discussing types of gambling, try to avoid mentioning specific brand names, as this may inadvertently promote the company in question. Instead, think about different categories, like sports betting, lotteries, and pokies. When broaching the concept of risk, be mindful that often students are of the opinion they won't run into serious trouble. Try to focus on short-term harms, such as being unable to purchase items they want. This will help students recognise the trade-off between spending money on gambling and being able to afford the things they value, such as having the means to go out with mates or the latest smartphone. While teaching this unit, try to replace the term gambling with betting, as students tend to relate to this better. Explain to students that these two terms can be used interchangeably. After activating your students' prior knowledge using discussion and note-taking, ensure that they have a good understanding of what the term gambling actually means. See page 8 and 11 to help with this. The next section investigates gambling as a health issue and can take up to 2 hours. Depending on when you undertake this unit, you may need to revisit or define what constitutes a health issue and dimensions of health, and run through individual human development. Once you've done this, discuss how these concepts apply to gambling. Use page 12 and 13 to assist you. Next, students will complete a web quest with guided questions to study gambling as a potential health issue. Depending on the needs of your students and time you have available, this section can take 2 to 4 hours. Start by showing students all 5 Mythbuster videos. You may want to play these a couple of times. Then break the class into at least 5 groups and allocate a Mythbuster video to each. Working in groups, ask students to complete the questions on page 17. If you would like to extend this activity, you could ask students to repeat the questions for each video. A link for each video has been included in case they want to go back and have another look. Once students have finished, discuss their answers as a class. The table on page 9 will help lead this discussion. Following this, students will then plan and record their own Mythbuster video using the planning template included in the appendix on page 18. This could be an individual or group task, but to save time and provide practice in allocating tasks, we'd suggest using this as a group activity. The video can vary in length, though 1 to 2 minutes should be adequate time. In selecting a gambling myth to focus on, students can choose from the list provided in the planning template. After they have finished producing their video, students have the option to share via social media. However, make sure your class knows that they're not required to do this and should only do so if they want to. The assessment record and self-evaluation is designed to incorporate self, peer and teacher feedback. We'd encourage you to use the matrix in a manner that is best for your students. That concludes our instruction video for this unit. If, while completing this, you become concerned that gambling may be an issue for one of your students or their family and friends, you can refer them to our free and confidential Gamblers Health Youthline support service. They can call 1-800-262-376 or visit gamblershelp.com.au/youthline. You can also contact this service for advice and support. We'd encourage you to let your school's wellbeing staff know that you're undertaking this unit and be aware of who to inform if you become concerned. For more information, visit our Love the Game website.